What's up, everybody? Hey, tune in. I'm going to be showing everybody how to do a Thai curry. I'm pretty excited about this, so I'm going to give everybody kind of a couple of minutes to log in. This is my first going live for Facebook, and I thought, well, why not get out there when everybody's out and we're doing this quarantine thing. I thought, let me teach everybody how to make this really, really good Thai curry. It's a recipe. It's actually a vegetarian recipe. You can add meat to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by just sharpening my knife. I think it's always important to start off with a sharp tool, if you know what I'm saying. You don't want to be a tool, so make sure that you get a good sharp knife going. So I just do it like this. A lot of people have their own thing, but I use one of these poles to sharpen my knife. But yeah, so we're going to make this Thai curry. I hope you're tuning in. Let your friends know. I'm going to go from start to finish on this. This is actually going to have tofu in it, so I'm going to show you how to get your tofu smushed up good so you get the water out of it a bit. But anyway, so we're going to start with that. I use this organic tofu, extra firm. We're just going to do one. Sometimes, depending on how much you like, you can use more than that. I opened this already, but you can open it, drain the water out of it. What you're going to do is you're going to pull it out of here. You can get this at anywhere, Walmart, Safeway, Fry's. And then you're going to take some paper towels. I know that these are kind of gold right now with what's going on, but if you happen to have some extra, this is the way we do it here at home. Jody and I, we like to do this. So you take your tofu, you're going to put it, and by the way, make sure you wash your hands before you start this whole thing, just so you know. You're going to wrap it up good with this. And then I put it on a plate, just like this, right here. And then take something heavy. I like to use this cast iron. You just set it on top of it like that. And what it's going to do is going to sit there while you're doing the rest of your different things. And it's going to get the water out of there. So you want to start with that because that takes a little while. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this sharp knife and we're going to go to our onion. I've already kind of cut this onion. I like to use about a half an onion for when I'm making a dinner for Jody and I. So depending upon how big it is, the people that you're serving, you just go ahead. I like small pieces of onion. I don't know, some people. I know Lisa, I won't use too many. I won't use too many paper towels. She said, hey, don't use too many. I like my onions pretty small. I guess it's from when I was a kid. I didn't really like onion. I'm probably going to cry. I usually cry when I'm chopping onions. I don't know about the rest of you. But I julienne them really small. Some people like big hunks of onion. I'm not that person. So I hope you're enjoying this. Like I said, it's my first time going live on Facebook. But I thought during the quarantine, why not? Let's teach everybody how to make one of my world famous dishes. And I actually kind of stole this from Jessica and Jamin Hubner. They came over one time. They visited in Phoenix and they made something like this. I kind of stole their recipe a little bit, modified it to do my own thing. So, hey, Tanner, how's it going? Make sure that you send me that reminder so I can tell the world to vote for Chi Alpha at CSC tonight. You know I'm going to be voting. Mr. Wingert, I hope that you're watching. I hope that I teach you something. You taught me a lot in math back in the day. So anyway, chop your onion up really good. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to start up this. Let you know what I use. I like to use the cast iron. This pot is actually perfect for any kind of curry that you'd like to make. Especially a vegetable curry. I don't know what it is, but it's something that within the iron that makes your food taste better. But I use this. So, starting to fire up over here. I know that you can't see me very well. I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to put, I don't know. And by the way, when you're watching this, I'm not going to probably tell you too much of how many ingredients to put in. I kind of just do this by taste. So I'm heating the oil right now while I'm chopping my onion. And then I'm going to take one of these bad boys, just one. It's a habanero pepper, or maybe it's a serrano. It's a serrano. I like to split it in half, and I'm going to leave the seeds there because I like my food a little bit on the spicy side. In fact, Jody and I, we really kind of love it. So I just split it right there in half. Then I split it in half again. And I'm going to dice this up real good. Really small. Like I said, I leave the seeds in. If you don't like spicy stuff, just take them out. That's fine. You don't have to do spicy. That's just the way we like it. So I dice this up really small along with the onion. And pretty quick here, we're gonna add this and the peppers into the pot. We're gonna fry those up real good. I'll bring the phone over so you can kind of see what that looks like. How's everybody doing? Are you guys, I guess, are you taking care of yourselves out there? Are you washing your hands? You doing your thing? Tanner, what's up? Yep, I'll make sure I do that. So make sure you wash your hands all the time, right now. It's more important than ever. So I'm going to take this over right now. The grease is kind of the oil. It's getting pretty good. So I'm going to take this over. I don't know if you can hear that, but I got a rocking and rolling here. Let me grab this real quick, and you'll be able to see as I take it over here. I hope that you can see that okay. We're going to fry that up real good. In the meantime, what I'll do, I'm going to get a little ginger. I like to use this ginger root. We'll probably use about an inch or so. Take your peeler, peel your ginger, get that ginger root peeled off, and then it's way better than using the powdered ginger. I mean, you can use that if that's all you have, but here at the Bonzoff's kitchen, we like to use ginger root. Gives it more of that authentic flavor. I like to use, by the way, a big cutting board, just like this, so I can have a lot of room. I'm kind of a bigger fella in the kitchen, but anyway, that's kind of what your ginger is going to look like, and then you're just going to chop that up really small. And then you're going to put it in with the onion, and you're going to put it in with the pepper, and you're going to saute that. What you got to be careful of when you're doing this, what most people don't know about ginger is kind of it's a spice almost. So when you saute it, it's going to get stronger, and then it's also going to make your pepper and your onion kind of spicier. So you might actually start coughing. So don't worry, you don't actually have the coronavirus. You're just coughing because it's spicy. You know what I'm saying? So dice this up real small. Ginger doesn't really disintegrate much, so the smaller the pieces, the better. Some people like hunks of ginger when they're eating, but I don't really. So there you go. I've got it chopped up pretty good. I'm gonna go put this in the pot, and I'll be right back. I like to use a wooden spoon. These are the best, actually. They work real well. I'm going to stir this up real quick. I turned it down a little bit. I like to use about medium-high or so. That works really well. For this recipe tonight, and you can, like I said, you can do different things. I'm going to use broccoli, carrots, and you can see how many I'm going to use, and asparagus to go along with our tofu. And this is a red Thai curry recipe, spicy obviously. And then we're probably not going to have it over anything but greens, but over rice. Another really good recipe, we like to put it over rice noodles. That's really good too. So the crowns, you know, I like to actually make this pretty small. I chop it up, dice it up really good, the broccoli. What's up, Todd Rosenthal? How's it going, man? I'm cooking a little Thai curry. And guys, like I said, this is a pretty easy recipe. You can add meat to it if you like. Chicken goes really well. I've even had some success sometimes with ground beef. I kind of like that. Now, when you're cutting up your broccoli, just understand it's gonna shrink up in the pot. So you might think, oh man, I got a lot of broccoli going right now, but you really don't. It's not really that much. It's gonna get small. So anyway, chop it up, whatever size you like in your broccoli. How am I doing so far, guys? I've never done anything like this. Tried to tell people, it's like I'm having my own cooking show, so it's a little bit crazy. I gotta check on the onion real quick. Let me bring this over here so you can see what's going on in the pot. I think you can see that there. You want to brown up the onion and the pepper really well. Some people, they go translucent. I actually like to make sure that it's crispy, because it really brings out the flavor in the onion. Actually, I can't stand slimy onions, so it's really good to have it crispy, if you know what I'm saying. So I got the broccoli basically chopped up here. I'm gonna kind of set that off to the side. Now, it's important that you disinfect your counters. I was already prepared because I knew that I was gonna go live and I was gonna be doing this. So make sure, get your carrots. I like to use this peeler. It's the best way to shave the carrots up a bit. A lot of people have eaten a lot of my food over the years, and this is probably going to be one of the healthier things that they've ever eaten. Most of my things include some kind of barbecue, some kind of meat. And I think most of you probably, if you've eaten any of my food, you know that's how I cook. I'm starting to get a little bit more in the neck of the woods of plant-based. Not that I'm giving up my roots of Nebraska where beef is king, because don't get me wrong, I love my beef. So anyway, you take the carrots, get the ends off of those. Jody's hiding in the bedroom. She didn't want to be out while I was doing this cooking. So I actually cut the carrots in half. Now try not to cut yourself. And then I cut them in half again. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is actually one of the better ways to cut your carrots. I kind of put them on an angle here. I don't know if you can see that. And then I julienne them like this. For some reason, kind of this angle way, your carrots will saute better, just so you know. We're gonna go back here real quick. We're gonna check on the onions. They're about ready, so I'm gonna move this over here because we're gonna do a little work over here. I gotta get a little bit more oil. Hope everybody's doing all right. And I think that if I set this right about here, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna put a little more olive oil in here. Now you can use whatever oil you want. A lot of people, lately I've been hearing people like to use coconut oil, and I use that sometimes as well. So now I'm going to show you the spices I'm going to be using. Like I said before, I'm not going to be able to tell you how much that I put in each of these, but I'll show you once they go all in. So here we have cumin, we have turmeric, we have coriander, we have curry powder, we have whole cloves, and we have some minced garlic over here. So I just start with a little cumin. And you know, if I had to guess, that's maybe a half a teaspoon right there. Probably a little extra turmeric. Turmeric's really good for you. I probably put a teaspoon of turmeric in there. Take the coriander. I do about the same. Now, you're going to notice that that the spices are going to kind of soak up your oil a little bit. Put a little bit more in there. It's no problem. So, and then take a little bit of this. Curry powder, and I forgot one spice. I like to put a little garam masala. It's one of my favorite spices. Put that in there, and about 6 to 8 whole cloves. Now, put those in there. Mix them up with the onion and the pepper and kind of just let them roast a little bit and that's another good reason to use the cast iron. It kind of roasts your vegetables. It does a really good job of roasting the spices. So just let that set for just a little bit, and then we're going to put the broccoli in here, and we're going to get that just sauteing. So we're going to put the broccoli in, and I'm going to put just a little bit of vegetable broth in there too, just so it cooks well. I don't know, I wish you guys could smell this. This smells really good. I think you'd really enjoy it. We're going to cook that broccoli just a little while. Let it saute inside with the onion. We're going to go back over here. We're going to work the carrots back up. I hope I haven't made you... It is a lot of broccoli, Elizabeth. That's right. Okay. Going back to carrots. Now I use 3 carrots. You can do more carrots. This, for me, the carrots are really good, but they're kind of for decoration more than anything in this recipe. So, like I said, put them on a slant. Now we're going to put the carrots over in the pot. Now I'm going to add, this time, I usually don't put asparagus in there, but asparagus is a really good vegetable. It's hearty, especially if you're not going to be using like any potatoes. Some people, they like to use potatoes in this recipe. I do, but I'm trying to cut back on carbs a little bit. Carbs are kind of the killer. Now, I get rid of most of this stocky stuff down at the bottom. You see that? I know there's people starving. I don't like that on asparagus. I like to use about that far up to the head. So now I cut this in, I don't know, maybe 1/4 inch cubes, and kind of leave the heads like that. And that's, again, for a decoration. I'm going to put this over in the pot and I'll be right back. All right. We're back over here. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of water and some vegetable broth. I'm going to cover this, and then I'm going to show you about the tofu. Vegetable broth, you can use organic. This is the one that I get. Now I turned that up pretty high to get those vegetables cooked down. Now you take your tofu, unwrap it. At first I didn't really like tofu, to tell you the truth. I kind of thought it was disgusting. I started using it a little bit more and more with Jody, since she's a vegetarian. And what I realized, since I do most of the cooking at the house, and Jody will tell you this, is that the smaller the pieces of tofu, the better it tastes. So, like I'll go really small. Like I don't know, I would say it's diced tofu. You'll see in restaurants they do those big honking cubes, and I guess if you like that, you can do that. Not here at this house. It's kind of like onions for me. I don't really like the texture of onions. I don't really like the big old greasy looking, I don't know. Most of you that are my friends, you understand exactly what I mean. You know that I don't like onions a certain way. But anyway, so here's your tofu. A lot of people, they like to grill their tofu, and you can cut it like this thin, put it out on the grill if you'd like. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop it up in some itty bitty pieces. Now, if you're saying, Shawn, why would you do that? What I'm going to tell you is this is really just to get your protein. So if you are a plant-based person, a vegetarian, you're a vegan, this is a good way right here to get your protein. And honestly, unless they cook this really fried up, tofu's got a kind of a nasty, I think it's got a nasty texture. So chop it up really small, and it's just it's adding to what you're cooking around it. So whenever I use tofu, it is always cooked in the midst of vegetables, and it just gives Jody that protein that she needs. So you'll notice that I've just really diced this up well. Like that, all right? Then I'm going to get the garlic. I'm going to take the garlic. Again, I'm not using any measurements. I'm just kind of going to go over the top of that. It's probably, I would guess, 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, and I just kind of put that inside of, well, I put it on top of the tofu. And I take a little bit more of this oil, and then I'm just going to take the tofu and toss it up a bit. And just kind of mix in the garlic, mix in the olive oil, and then we're gonna put this in the pot here pretty quick. Now, a couple of things, because this takes a little bit longer than to do it live. It's a little bit more difficult to show you the ending product. But what you'll do is I'm gonna put this in with the pot with the vegetables, and it's gonna cook down. And I'll probably do this here. Just give me 1 second. Just thought I would wash up there real quick. We'll come on over here, back over here to the pot. Sorry about that, guys. Now the thing about utilizing one of these is that you have to be careful, because you'll burn yourself. You gotta be careful taking that top off. Now you see that? Now look at that. Isn't that looking good right there? Yes, it is. I know it is. So this is kind of the big thing right here. I don't know if you're gonna go out and you're gonna find some red curry paste. This is the kind that I like. There's other things out there, but this one, I don't know, I guess the flavor is a little bit more whole. You can get some other red curry pastes that are kind of, they're weak and they're thin. They don't taste really well. So I'm just gonna set this right here. I hope everybody's doing all right. I'm gonna open this up. And using my expert measuring, I'm going to put some of that in there. And this is really to taste. Some people like a lot of red curry paste. I do. I'm one of those people. And so I'm going to mix that up actually so it can kind of saute inside. So while we're doing that, I want to let you know a little bit about life. I know it's kind of awkward for me right here in the midst of this, but some of you have heard this and some of you haven't. But you'll notice as we're cooking, it takes a long time. When you're cooking a meal, you're at home, you're with your family, you have one of two choices. You can live what I like to call the microwave life, where you just throw things in the microwave and, you start it and it beeps and doesn't taste that well. You don't really like it, but it's food. And maybe this is a little bit too much information, but my grandpa used to say to that kind of food, that it didn't really taste that good, he just said, well, it'll make a turd. And that's about all some of that microwave food will do. You don't really enjoy it, but you know that it will sustain you. This cooking that I'm showing you here, I like to call it slow cooking. You've heard of the movement probably if you know anything about cooking, right? It's that slow cooker movement. And why is that? Hey, listen, we're in the midst of this pandemic. Things are a little bit scary, but I really think that, we've been given this chance to begin to slow cook our lives a little bit more again, to begin to see one another as people, not just as a number, not just even as a colleague at work, not even just somebody that we go to church with, but as a human being. Like we have this opportunity now to slow cook life. A lot of us are in lockdown. I had heard there's a possibility we're going to be shelter in place in Arizona soon, and so that can get a little bit spooky. Make sure you got enough toilet paper. It took me a while to get it. But once you have that, once you have the things that sustain you, I want to challenge you. Like, would you slow cook your life with the people that you love most? And what's that look like? Well, it's spending time not... I appreciate you watching me. I mean, this is pretty excellent that you're doing so. But the people sitting right across the table from you, right across the living room from you, would you take some time with them? Would you enjoy life with them again? I think, if we would all just be honest with one another and with ourselves, we really haven't spent the time we should with the people that we love most. So I'm going to grab the tofu. Those of you just tuning in this pot right here, we have carrots, we have broccoli, we have an onion, we have serrano pepper, and then we have great spices, coriander and cumin and garam masala and curry powder and cloves, all those things. And now this is the tofu that I've kind of sauteed in olive oil and garlic. I'm going to add that into our Thai curry right here. The veggies they're cooking down real well, just like we had anticipated. The vegetables, I forgot to tell you, we also had asparagus in here. Now, I'm just going to lift this up so you can see kind of what it's looking like there. I think you can see it. All right. So we're gonna let that cook for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna put a little bit more of this vegetable broth in here. Now, like I told you before, I don't really know how much vegetable broth I'm using at this moment, but it's enough. It's enough to get it to cook. You don't want it because what you're going to end up doing is putting some of this coconut cream in there, and I'm telling you, this thing is the bomb. I don't know where it came from. Well, it's the Thai kitchen, but this stuff makes everything taste good. So anyway, you don't want it too runny because you're going to actually add that into that pretty soon. But I'm telling you, this Thai curry right here, this recipe that I've taught you how to make, basically from start to finish, it's going to be probably just as good as you would have at a restaurant. It's going to cost you a lot less. It's not bad to go out to a restaurant, and I'm sure right now most of us want to go to the restaurant. I know that I do. So, but maybe this moment that you're having in slow cooking with me today, you can kind of, maybe you could set up something at your house, kind of make it a night out. Jody and we're supposed to do, I got her this book for Christmas. It's like you scratch off and see what you're supposed to do for this date. Tonight we're supposed to make a blanket fort in the living room. We're supposed to Google chick flicks, basically, and make s'mores and watch those. Well, s'mores really isn't on my eating healthy diet, so what we're going to do is we already picked out Sleepless in Seattle. We're going to have some Thai curry, maybe under the blanket. So anyway, I can make it a night out. You can make it a night out. Do it with the people that you love. I mean, it's important. So, kicking it back up here so you can see kind of what we got going on here. I think that looks pretty delicious if you're checking it out right now. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the coconut cream. Now, you can do it with coconut milk. I just like the cream because I like the texture. So I'm all about texture. And that's the thing about slow cooking. Slow cooking gives you texture. Slow cooking gives you the flavors of all the different things coming together. It's more than just, like my grandpa would say, creating a turd. You actually get to enjoy this when you eat it. So you can see the coconut cream. It's really thick. This is the money right here. You just put it in there, you see. Now, you mix it up real good. The thing about coconut milk, you don't have to worry about it scorching, really. You can kind of leave the temperature up kind of high if you'd like. Then you mix it in. And I really appreciate everybody that's tuned in to watch me. I really am humbled by that. Now, like I said, we like our red curry paste, so and this whole thing is to taste. So put in as much as you want. A lot of times we use that whole thing for one setting. So it's kind of a, when you look at it, it's kind of expensive, I guess. Maybe this thing's $3.80, $4 or something. More than a gallon of gas. Unless you live in California and you're watching from California, then it's about the same price as a gallon of gas. Anyway, let me show you the end product right here. You can see the color of it. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now, a couple of things you can do when you're ending up your Thai curry. Some really good garnish is cilantro. So take some fresh cilantro. And I won't do this until we're ready to serve it, but I'll chop it up really small. A lot of people think you got to take the leaves off of cilantro. I like to cut it up from about here, and then you can actually dice that up small enough that the stems, they eat just fine. Like most of your salsas, they don't just have the leaves. I think a lot of people get confused and think, well, I got to pick each of these leaves off of the cilantro, and that takes forever if you've ever done it, right? So you don't have to do that. What I'm saying is that you cut it up here, and you can actually, if you dice it up and you take the time, and dice it up really small, you can just use the cilantro. And that's what we'll use actually to put over top of it. And like I said, carbs, if you want to use rice, white rice, I like to use jasmine rice for anything that I'm usually doing that's an Asian cuisine. I like to use jasmine. A little healthier option is brown rice actually. You can utilize that. Any rice will do, but again, it's about aroma. It's about flavor. So jasmine rice, it just adds to the slow cook experience. You're like, oh, I can totally smell the jasmine rice before I even eat it. I think maybe that's the thing that you can say that's good food when it actually makes you happy, just smelling it. So cooking this, putting it over rice, jasmine rice, and I also told you about a little earlier about using rice noodles. So you can go, and those are the same ones you'd find in a restaurant, like in pho. You can find different rice noodles. You can get the wide ones, you can get the skinny ones, you can get the ones that are, I don't know, super, super thin. I don't really like those. I kind of like the mid-range rice noodle. And then you just cook those up just like you would any kind of pasta. It's going to take a little bit less time, actually, than your normal spaghetti because the rice doesn't take quite as long to cook. And I like to actually mix that in with this dish so it gets to actually be part of it. I don't really put it over my noodles. I like to put the noodles in the pot. So those are a couple of ideas that you can do with your tofu red Thai curry, and there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time today on our quarantine day. I don't know, 2 weeks. It's been forever. Wanted to let you all know that I love you, I care about you. I've been thinking about every one of you, and I appreciate so much that you tuned in to watch me cook. And if it's all right with you, when I get off of this call, I'm going to look and see who watched me, and I'm going to pray for you guys, because right now, what else do we got to do? What else can we do? Like, it's a little bit scary out here. We're looking for hope, every one of us, and so just allow me to do that. Allow Jody and I to kind of put you on a prayer list, and we'll do that. So this is basically it. I've done my due diligence to show you how to make this Thai curry and give you a little love. So take care of yourselves and wash your hands, and don't steal other people's toilet paper. Actually, I want you to give your neighbor a roll of toilet paper. They could probably use it. All right. Take care.